Yeah, I have a situation where I would like to do the work on. It's yeah, I thought I had the perfect thought to do the work on, but now I'm like starting to guess if that's the right one or not. But basically, my situation is I'm trying to like learn something new, and that's always good for me, but there's like a downside of it, and that is like because I like to learn really well and do it really well, I just give up on some things that I learned before and I'm practicing before that. So it's kind of like I leave one things on the side, like I put them on hold completely to get my attention, more of my attention to anything new. So my thought is like I noticed that this morning and like it got me like triggered a little bit because it's like, oh, why I always have to do has to be that way. And it's like I'm thinking like I have to leave all those things like other things behind in order to learn something new. That's kind of like where I'm stuck in that place. I can feel it in my mind, in my body, and my mind is like stuck in there. It's like, oh, now I have to decide what to leave behind to start something new.
Yeah, I recognize that frustration.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it goes quickly to time shortage, right? This time scarcity, and you can't do it all, and yeah, the limitations of life. So, okay, so you said that you had the perfect thought. Is that the thought? I have to leave all those other things behind to start something new, or do you want to brainstorm? Where do you feel right now in
I
terms of
think
the
I want
thought,
to
like the
brainstorm a
question?
little bit because I feel like it's close, but it's not the actual one.
Okay,
So,
okay.
and
So what else is going on?
the weird part is like I feel like it's not even about time because I know I can like schedule it and like divide it a little bit better or shot like cut
Mhm.
some things off of it and make room for it. But then the thing is like my mind, it's like when something is full, so you have to empty and clear out some space to get something new in place. So I feel like
Mhm.
attached to that part even more than time or even more than whatever it is that I want to learn. It's more like, oh, I have enough. So if I want to do that, I have to clear the room, get something out, and then now I can learn something new. So
Mm, mhm,
it's kind of
mhm.
frustrating because I don't want to stop doing anything of the things that I learned now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so that's another possible one, like, I have to clear the room,
mm.
or something like that. Keep talking, like and I don't know if you wanna share any of the specifics of the things that you're looking at or if you wanna do it more generally, but, sometimes that can help finding the thoughts a little more clearly as well.
Yeah, it's like a different programming language that I wanna get into, and I've kinda, like, done it before a little bit here and there, but then I noticed, like, that part of, like, perfectionist in me, that if I say, "Oh, I wanna really learn it and be into it," I have to leave, like, the rest of the things behind because I need to focus a lot to be able to actually learn it or learn it as fast as possible or something like that. So that's kind of like what has me like in there. I know there's like a few different thoughts in there for sure.
Yeah, but it keeps circling around something like that keeps coming up, the same idea basically that, if you really want to learn it, then you have to leave the rest behind.
Right.
Different way of saying I have to clear the room, or you said earlier, I
Oh,
have to leave those other things behind.
just
But
one pop. There's like I can learn something new without stopping doing something that I'm already doing or something that I already like doing it or something like that.
yeah,
That feels
okay.
closer actually.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so shall we try that one? I think it's
Yeah,
it's close.
that one made
Hmm.
me feel like, yeah, I got annoyed just by thinking about it.
Okay, that's
So,
a good
yeah,
sign.
That's a perfect one. Yeah.
Okay, we know we're getting close to it when we start feeling that the stress is getting
Yeah.
higher. So that's good. Okay, so let me see if I got the phrasing right. I can't learn something new without stopping uh, something that I already like doing or something. I may not have gotten that last part just right. What do you think?
Yeah. It's like if I want to learn something new, I have to stop doing something that I like doing. Yeah. That feels
Okay.
right on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha. All right, just writing that down. Okay, so if I want to learn something new, I have to stop doing something that I like doing.
Oh, yeah.
I can feel that myself.
That feels right on.
Right on. Okay. Well, let's do the work on it. So, the situation is when you're thinking about learning a new programming language. um, can you be even more specific where you were? Like, when did it hit you? Uh, something, something tangible where you know specific time and place, possibly.
It was this morning actually sitting at my desk and thinking about it, and it's just I could feel the frustration right away, and the mind goes ahead start thinking what to leave behind completely, not even partially. It's like, okay, let's get rid of something. What is going to be what is it?
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yes.
right there this morning.
Yes. Okay. So, in that situation, just today, as you were thinking about this, if you want to learn something new, like this language, you have to stop doing something that you like doing. Is it true?
Yes.
And can you absolutely know it's true? If you want to start doing something new, you have to stop doing something that you like doing.
Yes.
So, how do you react in that moment as you're thinking about this situation? What happens to you when you think that if you want to learn something new, you have to stop doing something that you like doing?
Oh boy. I right away I can feel it in my body, like starting getting hotter, like inside my chest. It's like I feel how I get stuck in the decision of what am I going to cut off the list to be able to get this new thing done. I keep going back and forth between what I've done in the past, which is exactly the same of just like stop doing something and then just focusing on the new thing to get good at. And then also later on in the future, the frustration of stopping that I wanted to do to learn something new. So it's like, why can't it be both? But it's like still there's like an imbalance for sure there. And I feel, yeah, the frustration most of all. And then there's I can feel some blame on myself too from the past for not doing it before. So thinking like, oh, if I did it before, then I would be good at it right now and I wouldn't have to be making this decision at all. So it's like I
Mm,
wasted time in a way. So
mhm.
there's definitely some guilt there. And then I feel in a way attacked by myself. Feels weird because I feel like I'm putting something else there when everything is full. So I'm kind of like feeling that sabotaging myself in a way because I
Mm.
know I'm full and I'm putting something else on top of it. So feels that way. And then it's like the loop of not knowing exactly what to cut off the list and stop doing to learn this new thing. So it's like I could feel how I could be 5 years into this just thinking about it and not actually doing anything, not learning at all because I'm stuck.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
fully stuck.
yeah. I was gonna ask you, what are you unable to do? And I can hear it, like, unable to make any decision or move forward, or it's just, like, stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Fully stuck there.
So what we're seeing is that that stuck feeling is coming from this thought. The thought is, if I wanna learn something new, I have to stop doing something that I like doing, and I don't wanna do that, so,
Hmm.
I'm stuck.
I'm in the middle, like trying to, like forcing myself to decide, but at the same time not wanting to do it. So feels like I'm
Mm,
stretching left and right, but I'm still in that not comfortable middle.
exactly. Yeah. So when did you first learn this thought? When did you first get this thought in your life that you want if you want to do something new, you have to stop doing something that you like doing?
I think that's what I've done a lot, not even thinking about it, just like life kind of forced me to focus on one thing and I just put my 100% of my energy into that. And then I left things behind that I later on regretted. And it's like, oh, why I stopped doing that if I liked it and I just focus on that other thing, whatever it was. So it's like a pattern that
Mhm.
I can see throughout my life. Not, but not even thinking about it, just being like situational or just I don't even know. I just decided to do it that way without thinking, perhaps. I don't know. But it's like a
Mhm.
pattern that I can see going back.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're seeing the effects of this thought. It's very clear. The frustration, the not knowing what to do, stuck feeling, all of that. So let's see who you would be sitting at your desk this morning thinking about, oh, yeah, I'd like to learn that language. And then thinking, oh my gosh, if I want to learn something new, I have to stop doing something that I like doing. So that was what we just looked at. That's with the
Mhm.
thought. But imagine now that you were thinking about learning that language, but you didn't have the thought at all, like just somehow not there in your mind, that if you want to learn something new, you have to stop doing something that you like doing. Who would you be as you thought about it?
I can feel that I'm not attacking myself at all anymore. It's like I'm just there thinking about it because it's something that I would like to do, but I'm not seeing any limitations for doing it. I'm not feeling any limitations for doing it.
Mhm.
Huh. There are no like I can see like if I think about it before, it's like, oh, I have to become the best at that. But with the new one, it's like, oh, I can learn a little bit or as much as I can. Like if I keep liking it and just going deeper and deeper, but there's no this kind of goal of trying to be the best at it as fast as I can. So it's like it's not there.
Mm.
And that's really freeing. Wow. Feels like I can just start at any time without any time pressure or any pressure at all. Like before, I was kind of like thinking that I needed to put all my day thinking like about it. But now it's like I don't have to do that. I just can put whatever time I have available for it. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm not caught up in the thoughts that are coming up. It's like if everything is clear and they're just like passing by, I'm not holding any of them at all. So it's like almost empty, which actually feels good.
Hmm. Yeah. With the thought, very full. Without the thought, more empty.
Yeah. And my mind starts like going to, oh, yeah, maybe you can do 20 minutes here or 30 minutes there, or practice a little bit here and there. It's like the pressure is off. That's the main
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, this is how a thought can influence your experience. When you think if you want to learn something new, you have to stop doing something that you like doing, then it's impossible. But if you're not thinking that thought, new options come in that you weren't even thinking about. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So, how would you turn the thought around? If you want to learn something new, you have to stop doing something that you like doing.
If I want to start learning something new, I don't have to stop doing the things that I
Okay.
like doing.
I think you were already moving in that direction. So let's fill in as many examples as you can to support that idea.
True, because if there's no like major goal with it, like trying to hunt something, then time is not going to be any pressure, or like the amount of hours that I need to look at like the explanations and things like that are like relative. I don't have to meet certain times or anything. So that takes the all out. And if I don't have to put as many hours as I think I do, then I can just keep doing all the things that I like doing. And that would be just an additional thing that I like doing rather than a replacement
Hmm.
for something.
Hmm.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Like if you explore that a little bit, like what does it feel like on the inside when you're trying something new, but you're not necessarily getting rid of something old, but you're just testing things out? Like what does that feel like, that process feel like?
It feels like freeing. It feels like I'm giving myself permission to try something new rather than, okay, I have to stop doing something that I like to test if I like doing this. But anyway, I'm going to put 100% of my effort into it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't feel like I'm doing a bad deal. Like, like I'm not trading something I really like for something that I don't know if I'm going to like as much or at all.
Right, you don't even
I don't
know.
even
Yeah.
know. That could be a horrible
It's so
deal.
it could be, right? You might get in and think, "Oh, I really don't like this programming language,"
Yeah.
and now it's too late, I already gave up something else because 'cause I'm all in,
And that's
and then
the
I
way
have to
I
keep
was
going.
thinking. It's like if you're giving something and then you can't get it back. in a way. It's like, okay, if I stop doing it, then I can just go back to do it. It's like I already made my decision, so I have to stick to it. So,
There you go. Yeah,
mm,
so this is what's going on. Like, this is another underlying belief. Like,
right,
if I make a decision, I have to stick with it. And not only do I have to stick with it, I have to become like the best at it. I have to
right,
go all the way.
yeah,
So, like, if you touch even one toe on that treadmill, it's gonna like take you like 100% in, and you can't
right.
stop.
I'm not even giving myself like the gym's trial period or anything.
No,
Everything pretty
no.
much has a trial period, and I'm not giving that to myself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
So if I want to learn something new, I don't have to stop doing something that I like doing because I can give it a trial period. I can do like just test it out, see if I like it or not. And then probably if I like it, I will start being enthusiastic about it and will naturally start going in that direction. Or I might find out that's not really what I thought it was. And I still have the other things that I love to do.
Yeah. That feels really good, actually.
Yeah.
Not signing a life deal.
No pressure, but you have to sign your life away. This is a lifetime opportunity. If you don't take it now,
Yeah.
then forget it.
Oh
It has
my.
to be all in, right? That's the mind for you. The mind goes all or nothing so quickly. But what I'm hearing now is like you just have another possibility, and then you're just testing that out and testing other things out and seeing where your attention naturally is drawn. And it's yeah, I don't know where you're going to go, but you're listening to that, you're paying attention to that feeling of, oh, this excites me, or this not so interesting.
Hmm.
Freedom.
It actually made me think about, like, because I like to focus a lot when I'm learning things. It just opened my mind a little bit too, that if I put 30 minutes into it, I can give it my 100% inside those 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be the whole day to be productive
Hmm.
or something. So, mm,
I love it. Yeah.
yeah.
So these are all the middle areas that are opening up here instead of the all or nothing area of either I start something new and leave my old life behind completely, or I don't start anything new and stay in the same life. Like that sounds like an impossible choice.
Yeah. Feels like a lot of pressure if you look at it that way.
Exactly. So this turnaround opens it up a little bit. Like if I want to learn something new, I don't have to stop doing anything that I like doing. I don't have to. Like there can be still truth in the statement. Like if I want to really go all like really deeply into something, I might have to leave some other things behind. That's true. But the difference is what we're seeing is I don't have to go to that kind of commitment right away. Like that will either happen naturally or it won't. And I'm free to test some things out and find out where my interest actually lies.
Yeah, that's exactly how it makes me feel. Before it was like, I don't know what I'm getting into, but if I sign up for it, then I'll just have to be committed 100%. And that's when before, like, the thought of like regret came in, because before I committed to something that then I didn't like, but because I was committed, I just kept on doing it. So, yeah.
Yep. Welcome to the club. I do the same thing. I think a lot of HSPs do the same thing. It's like we like to look before we leap, and then, but like we can trap ourselves in that idea of I have to, once I commit, I have to stay committed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to jokingly call it the ratchet system. You know what a ratchet is? Like the machine, they're like a little tool. It's like it only goes one way. It's like, and so like if I start something, then it can only go tighter, tighter, tighter. It's never going to back off, and it feels like a trap. But what we're playing with here is that there could be a lot of room for exploration and testing it out and seeing what interests you, and then going away from it or coming back to it. There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. And it leads me to think, just like you said, like depending on how much I like it later on, I can still adjust the times for the rest of the things and see how I can fit it in if I really want to keep doing everything.
Sure.
But then
Yeah.
like, I feel more freedom to choose and actually decide what I want to do rather than being forced to do something. I'm forcing
That's
myself.
it. That's it. The belief is forcing you. Like
Yeah.
it's basically I have to be all in. I have to finish what I start, become, and have to be the best at it. I have to go deep with it. All those beliefs, they force the mind to make some crazy decision when it's not absolutely necessary. The reality of the situation is I can increase some time for this and then see how that goes. And then I might decide to decrease that time and bring it back for something else. And then I might decide, oh no, actually I do want some, oh, and there's another thing I'm really not interested in doing. I'm going to put some more time back on this. Like it can be like this constant adjusting to feel like what makes sense to me according to my feelings rather than according to the some contract that I have in my mind.
And now I just have like the being in that place. My wife just walked in my office like for a bit, and she even mentioned a little bit that I didn't thought it was that good at the time, but she also mentioned that you could do it per day. You can decide to do focus on one thing one day and then a different thing the next day. And now with the
Yeah,
options open, that makes a lot more sense too, because that's true.
yeah,
And that will feel like a lot more time, just one day of the week or whatever it is. So,
yes,
mm,
exactly, exactly.
yeah.
So, um, any other turnarounds? I don't know if there are. It's a fairly straightforward sentence, but if I want to learn something new, I have to stop doing something that I like doing. Is there any other turnaround?
If I want to learn something new, my mind doesn't have to stop doing something that it likes doing.
Okay, what could that mean?
I can see like how that fear of forcing myself from myself to force to be forced to do something has got me in trouble before. So I can see how the mind is like also like a little bit, oh, this is going to happen if we bring something new. So if I think of it that way, it's like I'm giving my mind also freedom to not look at it that way and then just keep doing what it likes doing, which is like, listening to different things. And it's not that I'm going to take anything away from it, the
Hmm.
things that it likes. So it makes sense.
Yep, yep, yep. I see another possible turnaround if you want to
Yeah,
look at it. If I want to do something old, I have to stop doing something that I like doing. Like old as in the old way I've always done it. You know what I mean? Like if I want to keep doing the same old thing, same old mind trap, then I have to just stop doing something that I like doing whenever I try to do something new.
makes sense. And it like once you said it, it also brought back things that I stopped doing before. And it made me think that I can just go back and do any of those at any time and
Ooh,
that wouldn't be an issue at all.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's like I left them
exactly.
behind because of like kind of like the same reasons. I went for something else, so I just left them behind. But if I have that thought, like for old things, it's they're welcome too with the new things that I like doing. I don't have to leave anything behind.
Hmm. You can go back, you can go forward, you can go in any direction instead of only going in something new direction.
That's really cool. Because one just showed up right away. I used to draw a lot and I really like drawing, but then at some point I just like stopped doing it. And now I can see myself drawing again. It's like, oh, you I can just do it here and there. See, it doesn't matter. I don't have to be
Yeah,
anybody.
exactly.
Wow.
Then it becomes like a play, instead of I have to be the best at it. It's just, oh, I'm going to draw for a few minutes. Oh, I'm going to study programming for a little bit. Oh, I'm going to do this. And you can change it up any way you want.
Yeah. That's really cool. I really feel like the resistance of it, even switching from one thing to the next one, thinking that I have to become the best, so I'll have to put all my time into that just one thing. So really
Yeah.
makes me see like the flexibility of it. So that's really cool.
All right, one more turnaround. If I want to learn something new, I have to stop doing something that I don't like doing.
Oh, that's really interesting. Right. It makes me think about not even stop doing something completely, but perhaps in the way that I'm doing it. So, like playing basketball, for example, that I like doing it, it's like if I want something new, I can simply play just like randomly here and there. I don't have to be part of a team and be in a training session that lasts for who knows how long and all that stuff. And I'll still be doing something that I like, but not as long. And then that'll give me space for something different too.
Yeah.
Hmm, that's really cool. And then I can be more honest with myself and decide if I want to stop doing something in that way that I like, but I'm kind of like, I force myself to do it because I was committed to do it and not because I
Yeah.
really enjoy doing it that much or that
Yeah,
way. Hmm.
exactly. You're listening to yourself. Yep.
Yeah.
And anything's possible when you're doing that. There's so much freedom when you're doing that.
Yeah, it feels great because it's like I give myself permission to do that and not just force myself to be there no matter what.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then I think like it's all related here and we've kind of touched on it, but it could be also good to question directly the thought I need to be the best at it, because that one it does exactly what we're just the opposite of what we're discovering here. It makes me almost like I'm trying to be the best at something, and even the question arises, why am I trying to be the best at something?
Hmm.
For me, it's like I'm trying to please like someone. I remember like always trying to get good grades for my mom or something like that, like always trying to do the best job I can. Like, so the reference point is outside of myself. And then that's when I have to try really hard and do even things that I don't want to do, try to do a really good job. But the opposite is what we were just discovering is, oh, well, if I'm not really wanting to play on the structured team with the basketball, I can just not do that, but I can still play when I want to play pickup games or something. Or like there's a freedom if I'm not thinking it needs to look good to somebody or it needs to look good to me or I need to be at the best, the very best. Like that's an outside
Hmm.
focus. So I think that will be a good one also to look at, actually question that thought. I need to be the best at it as well. But we've already touched on it a lot coming out right now.
Yeah, I can feel that too. Thank you very much. It's really cool.